Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Hamilton County Board of County Commissioners meeting 12/12/2024. I'm going to ask everybody to introduce themselves on the dais.
Christy Rischel, Assistant Clerk.
Leslie Hervey, Clerk to the Board.
Stephanie Summerall Dumas, Commissioner.
Good afternoon. I'm County Commissioner Denise Driehaus.
Jeff Aludo, County Administrator.
Michael Freeman, Legal Counsel.
And I'm Hamilton County Commission President Alicia Reese. We start every meeting with prayer, silent prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. So please join us in silent prayer. Amen. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous session.
Second?
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Driehaus.
Yes.
Commissioner Summerall Dumas.
Yes.
Okay. Now we'll have public comments. We have Jean Nightingale.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You have the floor for 2 minutes.
Okay, I'm Jean Nightingale, a member of the Sierra Club Miami Group, and I live in a house in Price Hill that overlooks MSD, the wastewater treatment plant, and I also live down the hill from the former Christian University. And when they expanded that campus, they enlarged their parking lot, but they built only a single sewer drain, which always gets plugged up with leaves, and then when it rains, the overflow from the parking lot is siphoned downhill onto my property like my Niagara Falls, floods right into my garage and kitchen. So I know a little something about the stormwater flooding that people are experiencing in their basements. It happens every time, and they don't seem to do anything about it. But I'm probably going to have to direct my complaint to Overland Water or something like that. But it's a really serious problem. But I'm here today to support the Sierra Club's position. Again, this is a second visit, asking you to please adopt the impervious surface fee for the Metropolitan Sewer District. At our stakeholders meetings with MSD, I learned that the current rate structure places an undue burden of the cost on single-family residents, while large impervious surfaces are not built at all since they're not metered connections, even though MSD accepts and treats storm-generated flows from these large runoff contributors. Such an impervious service fee would help reduce sewer bills for low-income residents who are effectively subsidizing the owners of the large properties with large parking lots. That's not fair. A more equitable fee structure would include a surcharge based on the impervious surface area for the large runoff contributors. At the same time, a second concern, I think, or an advantage, would be that this impervious surface fee would incentivize all the landowners, everyone, to adopt more efficient stormwater best practices, like holding stormwater right where it falls, holding tanks, community bioswales, rain gardens, rain barrels, daylighting drainage lines to ensure water drains away from their homes. This would help MSD reduce basement backups as the climate becomes wetter.
Thank you. Your time is
this
wrapped up.
inequity, we should not fund the Mill Creek high-rate treatment facility with taxpayer money. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Larry Falcon. Hi, you have the floor for 2 minutes.
Good afternoon. I'm here because I'm worried about MSD. I'm worried that they are in danger of failing and undermining the success of the region. What would success look like for MSD? It would include a completed consent decree with raw sewage overflows no longer polluting our rivers and streams. It would look like a fully funded asset management program that prevents major failures in our sewer system. It would look like affordable sewer rates so residents can succeed while MSD succeeds. So why am I worried about MSD? The core of MSD's consent decree strategy is 3 new high-rate treatment facilities, which are massively expensive. And these would be followed by sewer expansions to increase the flow to these new facilities, all so that we can treat rainwater as if it was sewage, and all paid for by already overburdened ratepayers. At the current pace, it will take more than 40 years to complete the consent decree, and maybe far longer. In the meantime, basic maintenance is being neglected, and we move farther and farther from affordable sewer rates. What's the solution? Cost-effective sewer separation, green infrastructure, and smart sewer projects instead of the HRTs, and rate reform. An impervious surface charge can relieve the burden on current ratepayers, provide more funding for MSD, and incentivize landowners to manage stormwater where it falls. Please reject the Mill Creek High-Rate Treatment Facility when it is proposed to you. Reduce the size and cost of the proposed Mill Creek pump station because it's being sized up in anticipation of that high-rate treatment plant. Reject the proposed rate increase and direct MSD to proceed with an impervious surface charge. Please help MSD succeed.
Thank you. Jackie Gruer? And if I said your name wrong, please correct me.
Gruer is fine. Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
All right, you have the floor for 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Well, first, I want to speak to the rate increase. I think it's that's not the issue. It's the rate structure that has to get fixed. It's not equitable. It places undue burden on residential and commercial people who are using water, and not the people that are putting a lot of water into the sewer system, and they're causing the combined overflow, sending rainwater to treatment plants when it doesn't need to be treated to the same extent. An impervious surface group was formed, and it had many stakeholders in it, and what's happened to that? And let's address the structure before we address how much you have to increase, is my thought. Second, I want to address rate affordability, and without legislative change, I'm a member, I didn't say that, I'm Jackie Gruer, I'm a member of Communities United for Action, and we're working for legislative change so more seniors and disabled people have access to help with their bills. But without that, the CAP program could still be enlarged to seniors who qualify, who are renters, who pay their water bills. I realize not all renters pay their water bills. Another thing is Ludlow Run. That was a project started in 2019 and has kind of come to a dead end. And what I have found out is that they're not finding that much water is there. However, a friend of mine is trying to buy a house on that street and found out it was in a FEMA floodplain. So that if it is in a floodplain and FEMA says it's in a floodplain, that hurts the homeowner's insurance ability to get insurance.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Was there any other speakers? Okay. Commissioners, would you like to do your comments, or you want to?
You want to move that forward? You want to move MSD
What,
forward?
yeah, I was going to move MSD forward. We had certain people coming down, so we would like to advance the items on the agenda for MSD.
Commissioners, if you'd like, I could give a brief
Yes,
overview
Mr. Ludo, thank you.
So the MSD items on your agenda today are items 1, 2, and 3. Item number 1 is and all of these have been subject to public hearing over the past month. Item number 1 is the MSD operating budget. It is at $240.098 million. This amount has been reduced by $3 million in accordance with the request of the board at one of our past meetings. That amount came from the SBU line item. Item number 2 is fixing sewer rates and charges for 2025. Item number 2 includes a 3.75% increase over 2024 rates. That is a reduction from the 4.5% rate recommendation earlier this year. Again, at the request of the board to revisit the rate increase. Item number 3 is the resolution approving and adopting the 2025 through 2029 capital budget, which is reflective of the Phase 2B consent decree currently submitted to the federal regulators, and that is proposed at an amount of $82,970,000. Happy to answer any general questions. Director Diana Christie is here if there are technical questions, but certainly open it up for board comments and discussion at this point.
Hey, thank you very much. Director Christie, anything you'd like to add before we open this up? Okay, I'd like to open it up to Vice President Driehaus.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your diligence related to MSD. Not everybody likes to talk about sewers like you all do. But I think what we know is that this utility is the one thing we do as a county that touches every single person every single day in Hamilton County. And, you know, I think we all three take that responsibility very seriously because if the system doesn't work well, we're all going to know it. And that is just not an option. It is just not an option for this board. We have a responsibility to keep this system up and running, to make sure that the aging pipes underground are repaired when necessary, and some of them are over 200 years old. So it is no small task to fund this utility and fund this system. The other pressure, as you all know, is the consent decree. In the end, you know, meant to help with the negative environmental impacts of the combined sewers and sewage going out into streams and mixing with stormwater. So we're under this consent decree from the federal government, but it is an unfunded mandate. So it would have been great if the federal government had said, hey, you've got a problem and helped us fund the solution, but that's not what happened. So locally, we have to fund it ourselves in addition to funding all the asset management that has been pointed out that we have to do as well. And so this is always a challenging budget when it comes to us. We do this annually. We always have public hearings related to the MSD budget. And for the first couple of years I was here, we had a significant reserve at MSD. And so we were able to have rates go flat because we were spending down a reserve that was very high. And so we were able to do that for a few years, knowing that at some point that reserve would hit the sweet spot where we know we've got what we need to operate in case something were to happen, but we need to have increased revenues to continue the work. And so that's where we have been for the last couple of years. So we have tried very hard, and I'll speak for myself, I have tried very hard to make sure that the rates are as affordable as possible, but also address these needs that I just pointed out, the asset management needs and the response to the unfunded mandate from the federal government. And as an aside, you just heard a little bit about the SBU program. This is the cleanup program that we have. We did reduce that budget slightly because we've not been spending that money in years past. But if we need to increase that budget to accommodate big weather events and people's need for cleanup in their basements, we will do that. And we have always pledged to do that. So the SBU program will be whole in the next budget. So here we are trying to figure out what is an affordable rate that addresses the needs of the system. And so the recommendation from the administrator was 4.5. And again, what I have been trying to do is bring some continuity to these rates so that you don't see rates going very high, then very low, then very high again, because as we all budget, as we all do our finances at home, it is very difficult to budget when you've got really unpredictable rates. And so we looked at 10 years and kind of what it would take to do this work over that 10 years. And we're trying to plug a number in that left those rates pretty much consistent throughout the 10 years so people wouldn't see the ups and downs related to any rate increases. And so that 10-year projection rate was about 4.5% over those 10 years. This commission has said that's still a little bit too high. We are hopeful that we won't need to hit those numbers in the future, but but we know we need to fund the work, and so we have settled on a 3.75 increase. And I don't want to speak for anybody but myself, so the we is really an I. So the 3.75 is where we've landed for this year. I regret that we have to keep increasing these rates. I do think they're moderate increases. It's about $2 a month, so it is. It's modest. It's not insignificant, but it's modest. But it does allow us to continue to address the needs of the system, which is, they're extremely difficult, but it's extremely important to the citizens that we do this work, and yet try to keep the rates as low as possible. So, Madam President, I am in a position to support items 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Dumas.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jeff, for your summary. And once again, as was said earlier, the administrative recommendation was a 4.5, and I was not agreeable to that, and we needed to reduce it. And it seems like if passed, it will be a reduction. It'll be 3.75%. I wish it was 0, but everything, as we know, is going up, and so we have to adjust to that. We have to be realistic and know that we can't continue to hold the cost. So I am comfortable with the 3.75. And also, as it relates to the impervious surface fee, the discussion has been going on for quite a while. But I think that if we continue to look at the impervious surface fee and look at process and procedures, that implementation will allow our residents to get somewhat of a break. So I'm interested in looking forward to not just discussing the impervious surface fee, but looking at policies and procedures and how we may be able to implement that. So I am in agreement with 1, 2, and 3 and willing to support the 3.75%.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank my colleagues for working to try to get the amount lowered than what was recommended with the administration. And I know that I agree, in fact, that we do have what you call a unfunded mandate. However, we don't vote for 10-year plan. Today, we won't be able to vote for here's what it's going to be 10 years. We would have to vote every single year, and we're trying to find an answer. However, I think that there are a couple things that are in the mix that lead me to the decision that I'm going to make today, which is, one, the economy is still rough and has not recovered. I think this is a time to hold the powder dry, try to keep things flat for right now, and they're saying that the economy down the road will recover. When you look at your bill, your water, your sewer bill, one of the larger parts of it is the sewer component of it. Not the water, but the sewer. It's one of the largest parts of the bill. And at a time when the presentation was made to us, it showed that in, I believe it was 2022, we had less in our reserve, and we did not increase the rate. We've got more in our reserve now, and we're talking about a potential increase. Last year was an increase of 3%. I did not support it then, and I don't support any increase now. There is a new administration. We don't know how that's going to impact. They're getting rid of people. And it's not like it used to be where they just get rid of the top people. They're getting rid of folks all the way down to the internship level. So we need to see, can we go in and renegotiate this unfunded mandate with the new people? And I don't think we've had a chance to do that. I think we've got some consultants, and we pay them, and they do a good job. But we're not talking about just getting some billable hours. What was in 10 years ago may not be coming in this next component. I would like to go in for a renegotiation with who's going to be the new team going in a possible new direction to get hopefully a better deal than we have gotten thus far. So I think if we could hold our powder dry, it will not impact us this year. We'll look at it again every year. We have to look at this year by year. We vote year by year. We get another bite at the apple, but let's hold tight. Let's keep the powder dry. It's really tough right now for people. Everything is going up. So if we don't have to go up, we're not at a point where if we don't go up today, we're going to be bankrupt. That's not it. We have more in the reserve than we had one of those other years, and we did not increase it. And I believe we need to send our consultants or either get some other consultants that can go up to Washington and negotiate with who's going to be the new team dealing with these particular issues, because I think it may be a change. And so with that, and I know that people say, well, before it never was like that. We ain't seen what we getting ready to see now. And so we need to be aggressive and try to renegotiate on behalf of the ratepayers. So it's the biggest part of the water bill. It's a time when the economy is shaky. People are struggling to just hang on to what they have, barely can hang on to those things, and really just can't afford any type of increases. And so because of that, I cannot support this today because I feel that we have the money not to have to do it today. We'd be able to revisit it next year, and I'm gonna look at it on a year-by-year basis, but we just don't, it's not an urgent matter today. And I think I would like to put my efforts on renegotiating. What we did 10 years, 20 years ago, let's try to get a new deal. And maybe if we don't get a new deal, we tried. But we should be trying to get a new deal because this deal is not a good deal for the taxpayers of Hamilton County, where the taxpayers are paying for everything. And it's unfunded mandates, it's unreasonable, and it's unrealistic. So that's why today I cannot support putting this forward. So Vice President Driehaus, I'm sure you will make the motion.
Well, I have one other comment to
I'm
follow up
sorry.
on
Go
Commissioner
on.
Dumas. So we have talked a lot about the impervious surface fee, and we've had a lot of public comment about that. And so I am hoping that come January, we will have a staff meeting related to impervious surface, dedicate some time to the recommendation from the administration, what was concluded from the task force that was put together that some of the folks in the audience were members of, and really do a deep dive into impervious surface, because that does have an impact on how high the rates will go. And if we can find some remedy there, I think, we're open to that. We're just not there. And it is frustrating. It's been a long time that we've been studying this, but I'm hoping that we can come January, maybe early February, get something on the staff agenda, have some time, have some discussion about impervious surface. So I just wanted to add
Can I
that.
ask you on that question? As we're doing that, can we bring in consultants to see I really don't want to take this lightly. I want them to go for a renegotiation, because I know we're coming up anecdotally trying to find ways, and I appreciate the volunteers. But what I want to make sure we don't have is what we had with, and I know it's not our intention, but I don't want it to be, usually we do something and say we're going to reduce a cost on someone. For example, when we had full service gas stations, they were pumping the gas, they were cleaning the windows, and we were paying less. They told us if we go to self-service, we'll be able to get a discount, and we're paying the higher gas prices. What I don't want is to come with the impervious service fee, and I'm not against it. I'm not quite for it yet. But then all of a sudden, here come all these people, because most people don't get mad till they get the bill. And then here comes churches and nonprofits and people who own property that's trying to hold on to the little property they have. And then you get a little break the first year. The next thing you know, after people forget about it, we're paying more in fees, and we're also getting more from this other component. So I just want to make sure I include it in our deep dive, if I would ask that we also get a report about what has been our strategy with the new administration to get a renegotiation, to put that on the table as well, because I know we're looking at all this in a totality thing. So I just want to put that out there, if we could include that as we're moving forward. And I know that's all in the going forward.
Right, and so we do have a report from the administration that we can bring forward at the meeting. If we, remember Donald Trump, when Donald Trump was elected the first time, we did some of this work. Commissioner, I'm trying to remember if you were here then.
I was
think
not
you were
here.
not here then.
No.
I think Commissioner Portune was here, Commissioner Dumas, I'm not sure you were here then. So we did take a look at this, so we need to dust that off and see if things have changed or may change in the future administration. So I'm all about that. But we've done a little bit of work there. So our
He
consultants.
going different now.
No, I
Than
hear what you're saying.
So people he appointed last time ain't coming back.
It's not like we didn't try the first time. So
Yeah, no,
anyway,
I understand.
but we'll put that into the conversation. One last thing on this. I was in Columbus last week, and we were hoping that Senator Ingram's bill would get some legs to provide some relief. CUFA has advocated for this, that we expand, and we just heard it today, expand some of the relief efforts. We tried to get that bill rolled into an omnibus bill for counties. That did not happen, and so we have more work to do in the next General Assembly, but we did make an attempt there to move that forward. So more to come on that as well. So with that, I'm going to make a motion.
I have a comment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Dumas?
So, Jeff, you had mentioned the average cost according to the increase. If we went with the 3.75, I know it's variable. And I don't know if Denise Driehaus mentioned it per month, how much that would be approximately.
$2.
Yeah, I thought that's what I heard. $2 more a month. Okay. And the other thing is, when we look at the reserve, the MSD reserve, it goes up and down. It's not where it needs to be. There is a reserve, but it's not like the reserve continues to go up. So we have to make sure that we have what we need in the reserve to do the mandates that we currently have. So that's all I have.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion that we support items 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
No. All right. Are you all okay with completing the MSD component? Okay. So we've got items 4 and 5. Mr. Ludo, did you want to tee that up or just go
I'm
straight
actually
in?
going to turn that over to Lauren.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
A couple more items, as you noted. Item 4 is legislation to authorize certification of delinquent MSD sewer charges in the amount of $923,992.72 against a property parcel located at 5177 Spring Grove Avenue in St. Bernard. Back in February this year, the board approved the certification of approximately $1.8 million to this same property, which is where St. Bernard Soap was previously operating. They're no longer operating. This new amount before you today has accrued since that time and would be an additional certification to this property. It's comprised of both past due sewer service charges as well as industrial pretreatment charges. And our intent, as always, with certifying these amounts is to put the district in the best legal position to collect these past due charges, ideally, in this case, when the property is sold to a new owner. Moving on to item 5, this is a resolution to approve an agreement between Hamilton County, the City of Cincinnati, and the Ohio Department of Transportation, or ODOT. We actually have some folks with us from ODOT today. To coordinate design and construction of MSD's East Branch Ohio River Interceptor Extension Project with ODOT's upcoming reconstruction of I-75 from the Western Hills Viaduct to the Ohio River as part of the Brent Spence Bridge Corridor improvements. MSD's portion of the project will remove approximately 85.5 million gallons of stormwater per year from MSD's combined sewers by constructing new storm sewers to convey stormwater runoff from I-75 to the Guest Street Freeman Avenue interchange, to MSD's existing McLean Avenue sewer, and ultimately discharged to the Mill Creek and Ohio River. Portions of the McLean Avenue sewer will also be rehabilitated as part of this project. The project will also include modifications to 3 combined sewer overflow structures and construction of a dynamic underflow control connection to MSD's existing East Branch Ohio River Interceptor to further reduce overflows. Additionally, 2 combined sewer areas will be separated as part of this project, resulting in the elimination of CSO's 432, and 489. No funding is requested at this time, just the approval of the agreement. Once the design is complete, MSD will request the appropriation of construction phase funding, currently estimated at $159,850,000. While MSD will be providing sort of upfront funding for these improvements, under the terms of the agreement, ODOT will be reimbursing MSD for both the design and the construction costs for this project. So a lot of benefit for the sewer district in terms of overflow reduction at little to no cost to our ratepayers, which is great. And lastly, just wanted to note that this project is included in the county's consent decree Phase 2B submittal. So we, of course, recommend approval. Want to thank ODOT for their collaboration on this project. I don't know if you all have anything to add or want to say.
Tammy, yeah.
Hi, I'm Tammy Campbell. I'm the District 8 Deputy Director for Southwest Ohio. As she said, this is a great joint project. We've been collaborating on this for well over 2 years to come to this agreement. It benefits us. You know, our environmental commitments said we would separate all the combined sewer when we were doing our projects along 75. And this helps us have a smaller pump station, but also helping MSD help lower some of their sewage treatment in that facilities, like she just said. So it's been a great partnership, and I'm proud to say that we're happy that this is moving forward and that it will end up benefiting all the communities around this area. So thank you.
Thank you. I will open it up. Vice President Driehaus.
Well, thank you, Tammy, for being part of this partnership. This is a huge win for MSD and for the ratepayers in Hamilton County because we're getting the remediation that was described at no cost. And that's the opposite of what we just talked about earlier. So really, really thrilled that ODOT is participating in this way and paying for removing that all these systems, you know, it's really amazing. So thank you for the partnership, really appreciate it. And the other piece about St. Bernard soap, so I understand that we're kind of piling on here to what we've done in the past. Have we had any success in recouping any of the cost that is due to us?
With this particular property, no, not yet. I mean, I think they are still evaluating opportunities for what is next for this property. St. Bernard Soap was a very large customer for us, I think one of our top 10. So we certainly want to help them and see them find a new beneficial use for the property. But I think that those opportunities are still being explored and maybe negotiations at this point. I don't know. So we haven't collected anything yet. But this strategy of assessing to the property has been successful for us in the past in other cases.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Dumas?
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. No comments. I'm just really happy about the partnership, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. I echo that. So I would move for approval of items 4 and 5.
Second?
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Driehaus?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, if you don't mind, I'd like to advance the budget. So we'll advance, let's see, by leave 5. Mr. Ludo?
Yes, commissioners, and if I could recommend, Madam President, commissioners, that we advance. 1 second.
I leave 2.
4, 5, and by leaves 4, 5, and 6. It's under the by leaves. So items 4, 5, and 6 are all kind of tied into the budget.
Okay.
So if at your pleasure, I'd be happy to discuss all 3 of those.
Okay, 1 second here. And then might as well do by leave 2 as well. It's not a budget item.
That is actually not a budget item. That's an item.
A grantee. Okay,
It's a
never
grant
mind.
for
Let's
this year,
just
yes.
stick with those.
Okay. So, and I'm going to do this fairly quickly, commissioners. We've had several public hearings on the budget, but included before you, by leaves 4, 5, and 6, relating to establishing a budget and a spending plan for 2025. Before I get started, I do just want to thank John Brugan, Rob Wagner, and all the budget staff for all their extremely hard work on this. I want to thank all the department heads and elected officials of the county, and most prominently want to thank the Board of Commissioners for your policy guidance on this matter. The budget as included before you is the general fund budget is at $389.7 million. The all funds budget, which includes the general fund, is at $1.36 billion. And again, I won't belabor the point because we've had several public hearings on this. But the all funds budget, for those who may be watching at home, includes appropriates funding for all of the general operations of the county, including its restricted funds. So this is when we are budgeting, or approving this budget, we're approving the operations of the sheriff, the county court system, the Board of Elections for the county, the prosecutor, public defender's office, 911 operations, the crime lab and coroner's office, planning and development. All of our levy functions are included in the all funds budget. That includes our county law enforcement technology initiatives, children's services, developmental disabilities, senior services, health and hospitalization, the zoo and botanical gardens, family services, and mental health, as well as operations related to the job and family services, the engineer's office, stadia parking, that type of thing. Overall, the budget is a slight reduction from 2024, which reflects what we expect will be lower revenue growth, particularly in sales tax in 2025. So the resolutions before you, Commissioners, item by leave 4 is a resolution which establishes the all funds budget at $1.36 billion for 2025. Separately, you have by leave 5, which is budget adjustment number 1 to supplement the general fund. And this is what we've talked about and was included in my budget presentations related to the various one-time investments that are coming from interest earnings in 2025 that are projected to be in excess of current estimate. And item 6 is a resolution which is related to the budget but is a bit different. We don't typically do this one because of the Veteran Services Commission budget request and the level of request that it came in at. The Board of County Commissioners has the authority under the Ohio Revised Code to appoint additional memberships to the Veteran Services Commission for a period of up to 5 years. This resolution creates the process for establishing 3 additional memberships to the Veteran Services Commission. So all of those items 4, 5, and 6, Commissioners, are placed before you today for consideration related to the 2025 budget. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to open it up. Vice President Driehaus.
Thank you. When we talk about the budget, I always think it's important to thank staff because really we work on the budget all year long. We've got a really tremendous budget staff that is always talking to the different departments about their needs and trying to right-size the budget. So thank you especially to Jeff Aludo, of course, John Brugan, Holly Chrisman, the budget staff, and everybody else that's been involved in getting us to the point where we have a budget in front of us and we are going to pass it. So thank you for all the work that you have done. So to my view, this budget provides top-of-the-line services to the residents of Hamilton County. It secures financial stability, and it allows for some exciting opportunities. So it continues to fund vital services, primarily through public safety and the courts and justice system. Over 70% of this budget is related to safety and the justice system. And so we are continuing to fund those systems. We have an increase in here, a raise of 3% across the board for our workforce. I think that's important to do to make sure that we are continuing to recruit and retain quality individuals to our family here at Hamilton County. I think we have seen the results of that as we've been doing this the last few years, and I think those are good results. And this budget also invests in technology and some innovation, also in the safety space, but in different spaces as well. So when I talk to people and people kind of glaze over when you talk about the county budget and how important it is and how our functions are so important, they're like, okay, right? And I'm like, but we're talking about 911, We're talking about emergency management. We're talking about JFS. I mean, these are really, really important and critical roles that we have to deal with and we have to fund through this budget. And so it's really important that we get it right. So I'm again pleased that we've got this in front of us. The one other thing, and it was mentioned, is the VSC. So we've seen an increase over 10% of the previous year budget. The budget will go up 1.4 million, which is more than we've seen in the past. We actually kind of asked the VSC to do this. We need the VSC to provide services to the veterans in our community. They were really struggling to do that under their current budget, and so this is a significant increase. I'm happy to support this increase, and it also allows us to appoint some people to the VSC, additional members. And so I'll be looking forward to voting in favor of the motion that helps us start that process to get some new members placed over at the VSC. The other thing this budget does is have this over 15% reserve. 15% is kind of the standard that we're always shooting for. This budget has, I think, just a little over 16% reserve, so we're right in the ballpark. I appreciate that. There were some changes, slight increases to some of the economic development priorities that have been in front of us in the past, specifically the Community Revitalization Grant, which allows us to partner with the 48 jurisdictions outside the city of Cincinnati to help them do catalytic projects in their communities. These are really, really important projects for these communities. I was happy to initiate this a few years ago, and I'm glad to try to get a little bit more funding to continue to make that work. We've got a little bit more in here for site readiness, getting sites ready for businesses to come into Hamilton County and set up shop. We just had a big, huge win over in Reading a couple of days ago, and so this continues that work. We've got a little bit of additional money here for the large event grant, which helps us fund things like Blink and the music festival, and I anticipate some new items, perhaps River Roots, in the upcoming cycle. It is a competitive process, so you never know what's going to get funded, but we just wanted to make sure that there was enough funding there to help us to expand and add some economic development and revenue potential to some of these projects that we have in our community. And then there's a little bit extra for bike trails. The trail that we're hyper-focused on is up in the Mill Creek, which will serve communities that generally have not seen that kind of investment, and so it's an exciting project. In the meantime, we've continued to support the Port, Alloy, and Ready as our economic development partners. We've got some one-time funding here from interest earnings, so one-time earnings for one-time projects, specifically for trying to get women's soccer to Cincinnati. They're looking, and we're in the top 3 for getting the national team here in Cincinnati, so it's very exciting, and we've pledged some dollars there if that were to happen. One-time dollars, mind you, but important investment nonetheless. And then the other investment at a smaller amount is Sundance, to try to get Sundance to come into our community and add a lot of economic development related to that over the next 10 years or so here in Cincinnati. So those are the one-time investments. I was excited to see those included. And then I do want to note that, and Jeff, you mentioned it, this budget is a little bit less than last year's budget. Our revenues are relatively flat. It's put us in a challenging position related to how we fund all the functions of the county and do some of these extra things related to economic development. And I just want to point out they're a sliver of what we're doing in this budget. I mean, the budget, the general fund is about $390 million. The economic development piece is only a few million. I think it's super important that we do it. But really, the meat of this is trying to make sure that we have basic services covered by really stellar employees. But our revenues are very restricted right now, hoping that changes in the next year or two, but it's made for a pretty difficult process. And thank you, John, for helping us work through that. And lastly, we've talked a little bit about long-term funding for housing in the county. We've been able to use ARPA money for this in the past. That money will run out, and I want in the next year to take a look at, whatever might be available through other revenue sources to help us just with some money to provide some stability for long-term housing in the county. I don't know how we get there, but we didn't get it done in this budget because there just wasn't an opportunity to, and we've got a little bit of the ARPA money left. But I'm hoping that in the future, we can take another look at that and hopefully find some funding for housing in the county. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Dumas.
Thank you. We've done a lot, for sure. I'll make mine a little bit more succinct because there's so much in our budget. But number one, we have to remember we started out with this budget with a $50 million gap. So I want to thank the staff, our administrator and our finance people who did miracles. They listened to us, what our priorities were, and our budget is balanced now. And also for me, going into the reserve is a no-no. I do not like going into the reserve. We never know what other emergencies will come about. So just to make sure that we keep our 15% and not tap into it and have it go up to what it was before. I think it was about 17%. But as was said, our reserves are not as good as they were. My focus are always seniors, youth, affordable housing, and then the homeless, not necessarily in that order. And we put $1 million in for tiny homes, which is already incorporated in the 40 million affordable housing, looking at that as a permanent way of housing. So we're continuing to look at that. Also, I'm just really happy about this process. It seems like it went a little smoother than usual. I'm not sure why, but the process was good through the finance department. The amount of time that we had to review the numbers and also the flexibility of my colleagues to kind of negotiate priorities and reduce some monies and raise some money. So I was really happy about that. But lastly, the forefront of my mind is that the taxpayers, did the taxpayers get the money, or will they get the money that they need to have a quality of life that's affordable and to provide the quality of services that they need? And I'm very confident that in this budget that will happen. So I'm really happy about that. Happy about the Veterans Commission, and that we'll be looking at putting a few members, 3 members on the commission. So I'm happy about that. Really happy about how the Veterans Commission has grown and developed, and just with our guidance also, just doing some great things. So I'm looking forward to what the future holds. And that's all I have. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I would like to also thank and commend our administrator, Ludo, and the finance team and all of the departments that came in and had to present their budgets to us, and understanding that we were faced with a $50 million gap. And everyone rolling up their sleeves and being able to come back to us with a budget that does not sacrifice the taxpayers of Hamilton County. We were able to close the $50 million gap, but fully fund safety. We were able to close the $50 million gap, but still invest in our youth. We were able to close the $50 million gap and still invest in jobs and family services, the safety net of our county. We were able to close the $50 million gap and still have a healthy reserve above the number that we said. We wanted 15%, we're up at 16. We were able to close the $50 million gap and still invest in community economic development in municipalities that have been neglected for decades until the past few budgets that we've had. we were able to close the $50 million gap and still invest and have a sustainable model for our mobile services called the 513 Relief Bus that helped over 30,000 people already. We were able to close the $50 million gap and still keep the promise of the 30% property tax rollback to the homeowners that were promised this in 1997. And we were able to grant it to them twice in the last 4 years. We were able to close the $50 million gap and still be creative to utilize the interest earnings funding that we benefited from and reinvest those dollars into projects to move the county forward, whether it is Sundance, that we're positively thinking that we've got a really good chance, or whether it's the women's soccer, which I propose that not only just having the women's soccer for the national people to come, but how do we connect it to an amateur sports piece so that the little girls' soccers and more high school soccer teams and volleyball teams and basketball teams and get more scholarships. We got the best athletes in the world and tap into the $90+ million industry called amateur sports. We've got an opportunity. We were able to close the $50 million gap and invest over $2 million for veterans. This time last year, veterans were packed in here. They were very disappointed in Veterans Services Commission. We were hands off. We did what they told us to do. But this time we stood with the veterans, and we were able to last year have in the budget a Veterans Appreciation Day that came from here, and I was happy to initiate that idea, but it wasn't just an idea, it had an ROI. 3,000 veterans were helped. We were at Great American Ballpark. We finally took the community days that they told us we could have in 1997, and we finally utilized them for the community. And 3,000 veterans, and we partnered with Veterans Services and disability veterans, and I mean, it was great. We had every department from the clerk's office to the veterans court. It was amazing. It was free, and we were helping veterans on the spot. Now, in this budget, we're going with $2 million, but I want to be clear, the budget was not the only problem. It wasn't just the budget. It was what was happening over there at the Veteran Services. So I don't want to just come here and we just giving them a budget. That's not the answer. We want to be helping some veterans. And the reports, we want reports. We weren't getting reports. We now got reports. We saw they were only helping 300 and 500 veterans. So we're not just here to give you money and then you run off and say you independent. And then when it's a problem, here come the I team over here. We're talking about a real partnership. And so I wanted to make it clear in Mr. Ludo in our budget, I want to thank him for the language and thank my colleagues for agreeing to the language, that in this $2,200,000 is earmarked to have that event again, because we know that event worked. We know 3,000 veterans got helped. And we want to continue our partnership. I don't plan to be hands off and then I don't know what you're doing over there. And then here come the I team, want to ask me, what did y'all do with the money? Nobody's getting helped. So I hope that the money is one step, but more importantly, I'm looking for a partnership. And we had the ability to put 6 people on the board where we would have the majority. But in the interest of partnership, we said we'll just do 3. So I don't want to go back to the relationship we had before for the last 200 years. I want to go to the relationship we just had where we were partnering and we know it worked. And veterans, I can't go anywhere without getting stopped by veterans who said, my God, we finally getting something done in Hamilton County. So I want to be very transparent about that. And I hope that Anson is respected in the meetings and that this board continues to be involved, because I see this as Hamilton County's veteran appreciation in partnership with the board and the Veteran Services Commission. So I wanted to get that on writing and on the video so you know exactly what my intentions was. The money wasn't the problem. The problem was we didn't have partnership, we had no communication, and veterans were not getting helped. So we're gonna put the money up, but we're expecting that event, if I don't know nothing else, I can at least see 3,000, 5,000 veterans on that particular day. In Hamilton County, we deserve to have that day for our veterans. In addition, we closed the $50 million gap and never sacrificed the people of Hamilton County. And it's tough a lot of times when budgets get tight. The first people to get cut are the people. But I'm very proud and thankful that our board has stood strong. We closed the $50 million gap, but we still are investing in affordable housing. This economy is tricky right now. We don't know what to expect or what's ahead. And I just believe that we put a budget in place that allows us to help sustain, grow, and move our county forward. It's very important that our county people can afford to live, work, retire, start a business, expand a business in our county. And so I'm very happy to support this budget and thank everybody that worked on it and participated. We're able to keep a lot of the initiatives that we have. We're able to keep the Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame going because that's coming out of restricted funds, no general fund dollars, no home dollars. That's why we invest in tourism. I support the large event grants and the small one, but large event grants, what I'm looking for is room nights, heads, and beds because it pays for itself. And a lot of the ones that we supported over the years have brought in over $10 million in hotel revenue that we get, tax dollars, reinvested. So we're putting in 1 million and getting 10 or more back. So we want to keep these things going. And those are the things that have been able to help pay for Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame, which now has 86,000 visitors for free that have come down there. So again, happy to support this budget. We've been going in the right direction. We had to make some cuts, but we didn't cut the people of Hamilton County. So happy to support this. And with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve by leaves number 5, 4, 5, and 6.
Second.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer-Dew.
Yes.
I'd like to also add, if possible, I want to thank our staffs, the commission staffs, our chiefs of staffs that worked really hard back and forth. So I want to also acknowledge them as well. Okay, so we got a budget, you. Give it a big round of applause. We got a budget. Thank you. Okay. Commissioners, you want to continue or you want to go to your comments? What you rather do? Want to continue? Okay, let's keep the show going. Mr. Engineer.
He's happy. Yeah.
I'm happy. Good afternoon. First, before I do my 2 items, I would like to acknowledge that unfortunately Tammy Campbell has left, but she is retiring at the end of the year. And I want to wish her the best and thank her for all her hard work and cooperation that ODOT has done with Hamilton County in the past.
She's leaving us with a bang.
Yeah, she is.
Thanks.
Yes. Okay, 2 items today. Item number 6 is a resolution with an intergovernmental agreement with Harrison Township for the use of salt dome and rubber tired loader in the city of Harrison for the 2024-25 snow season. This agreement runs December 1st of this year through end of March of 25, $3,000 out of the road and bridge funds. Item number 7 is a resolution authorizing an amendment to the joint agreement for professional engineering services with Fishbeck for the improvement of Berkshire Road Bridge in Anderson Township. The additional cost is for development of right-of-way plans in the amount of $25,401 out of the permissive auto funds.
Okay. I'll open it up, Vice President
I
Trias.
have no questions. Thank you.
Commissioner.
Item 6, is that a longer term than usual? I heard you say March of 2025. I don't really,
It's the winter season. It's
Yeah.
December 1st through the end of March, yes.
right, but the 3,000 is a larger amount than I'm accustomed to you bringing
That's been typical for the city of Harrison.
for Harrison. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll make a motion to approve items 6 and 7.
Second?
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Thank you.
Madam Commissioners, I'm sorry. I'd like to go back to, can I go to the facade? I thought we might have had, I leave number 3. Oh, 2, I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry about
Sure. Thank you, Commissioners. No, and I know we have some guests here for this, so thank you for advancing, Madam President. So by leave number 2 is a resolution authorizing the county administrator to negotiate and enter into funding agreements by and between the Board of County Commissioners for facade improvement grants with various grantees. This was a grant program that we have done. There are multiple grantees here today, but in total, the following communities under this would receive $50,000 facade improvement grants. The city of Cheviot, Harrison, Mount Healthy, Reading, Lockland, and Woodlawn. I believe representatives from Mount Healthy, Lockland, and Woodlawn are here. May want to say something on this. But again, these are all $50,000 grants. I want to thank Kelly Adamson for coordinating this. I'm not sure if she has anything to add, but would certainly open it up for any questions or comments, Commissioners.
Thank you very much. Would you all like to say something?
Thank you, Commissioners. I will just do a quick introduction. As you said, the facade grant is a county program that invests into improvements in communities' business districts, and especially business with storefronts that really greatly benefit from investing into the improvements of their building, but especially public-facing improvements. And you were just speaking to small businesses in the budget, and this is really, really vital for small business attraction and retention and expansion as well. And so we're really excited to have some of the recommended communities here today. We have, and then I'll let them come up and say a few words. With the Village of Lockland, we have Doug Weemeyer, the Fire Chief and Village Administrator. With the City of Mount Healthy, we have Mayor Jennifer Moody and City Manager Scott Bauer. And then with the Village of Woodlawn, we have Tim Engel, the Village Manager. So I'll let them each come up and say a couple words. But thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Hello, Scott Bauer, City Manager of Mount Healthy. Just want to express my appreciation for these extra dollars. They go a long way in our neighborhood. Highly visible projects. We utilize a local nonprofit redevelopment company called Third Century. They help us engage with the public, engage with the businesses, and just really drive interest, and just really helps us shine a spotlight on the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Tim Engel with the Village of Woodlawn. First of all, I want to thank the commissioners for the grant opportunity. Again, it goes a long way in helping us build up our relationships with our businesses. And it's mutually beneficial. Obviously, it benefits our businesses by improving their facades, but also helps our residents by making the downtown and other areas of Woodlawn look beautiful. Would also like to just thank the county commissioners for all their support over the years, whether it's the 513 bus meeting us where we are in our council meetings or at our events, or helping us with moving the gun range with our partners at Lincoln Heights and Evendale. You've always been there for us. We appreciate it, and we thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Doug Weemeyer with the Village of Lockland. On behalf of the mayor, Mark Mason, and our council, I want to thank the commissioners for this generous grant for the village. Without your success or your help, the success wouldn't be possible with our facade program. And as we continue to look at the revitalization of our downtown district, we're very happy to have the commissioners as a partner moving forward. So thank you very much, and we greatly appreciate your help and wish you a great and happy holiday season.
Thank you. Well, I want to say something on this one. And I want to thank my colleagues. Small businesses are the backbone and the future of our county. I've said it numerous times. I want us to be number one with small businesses. And so with that, some of the things that I thought be very important as we move in that direction, and we're seeing this today, and I want to thank my colleagues for their support. One was having an Office of Small Business, which we've never had. We have one now. Next was having a Small Business Day so people know what's available. And we've had 2 of those with almost 2,000 people that have been assisted. Then we had a pitch night that was incredible with the new ideas and entrepreneurial spirit, and all 3 of us got a chance to see that, and that was great. We were happy we were not judges because everybody was just fantastic. But it showed the innovation in our county. And of course, with the ARPA money and American Rescue money, we've done over $17 million in grants to keep small businesses afloat. And then, so what about the business districts? If we could have some kind of grant program, because they have a lot of small businesses in those areas, and if you can get the business districts upgraded and those kind of things to help small businesses be able to move into these storefronts, and we don't have empty storefronts, this would be incredible. I was with the mayor of Mount Healthy at the ribbon cutting of the library, and she was ready to take me over there. Let me show you. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And it was just great. So thank you all for being here with the business districts. And I just want everyone to know that our focus, at least my focus, is small business all the way around, hitting them where they are. And I think we're doing a good job. Every year we're increasing, and we know that we want people to move here, who want to start their business here, who want to grow their business here. And this helps that. So I'm very excited to see this move forward and excited to support it. Vice President Treehouse.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. You're behind the pole, so I can barely see you, but thank you all for being here.
Over here, so
yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kelly, for pulling this together. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the partnership. This is one of a number of programs where we have the capacity to partner with the jurisdictions throughout the county. So thank you doesn't work unless you guys are participating with us. So thanks for being here and reminding us how important this is. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Dumas?
Thank you. I'm also excited about what you can do with this money. Hopefully, as the budget gets even better, we can maybe next year increase the amount. Kelly, I heard you mention Jennifer Moody. Who does she represent? Did you?
Mayor.
Did you want to speak?
Mayor, you already speaking, so you already get up. You went to pointing the place out to me.
So of course, it's extremely important for your support, and we've been very blessed with having to work with Alloy and some of the initiatives that you've started here in Hamilton County. I've often believed that most of your residents are outside of the city of Cincinnati, and these small cities. In fact, we now have a nice verbal working relationship with Laughlin now, and as we work together for some of the same goals, we want to support each other. We're not looking just at Mount Healthy, Laughlin's just looking at Laughlin. We're looking together to be able to do things together, because as our small businesses have that opportunity and grow, I do truly believe that people are looking for that small town community feel, and we want to bring that back to Hamilton County very strongly. So we're very appreciative to be here today, to thank you, and we look forward to our futures working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. That's all. Thank you for that. Okay. Did I already pass it? No. Okay, I make a motion to approve by leave 2.
Second.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
There's only one other by leave on here. It's an appointment. Can I just choose it?
There's one above it too. We can do
What's
both of
one
them if
above?
you want.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Get the by leaves off
Sure.
out the way. I'm sorry.
By leave number 1, Commissioners, is a resolution authorizing an agreement between Hamilton County and the Council on Aging. The board discussed this as part of the ARPA reallocation. This is $478,349 for the Senior Utility Assistance Program. The board has had discussion on this. The administration recommends approval unless there are any questions.
Thank you. I want to thank you for this by leave. And like we said, leaving no one behind. And our seniors critically need assistance and help. So I thoroughly support this. I know we partner with Council on Aging. We had about, $2 million that we've done prior to this for a senior citizen carve-out fund. And now we're able to add another $478,349. And 40 cents. So anything we can scrape up to help our seniors, I'm super supportive. Vice President Drake.
Happy to support the by leave.
Commissioner Dumas.
This is great.
Make a motion to approve by leave 1.
Second.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
By leave 3 is the resolution reappointing a member to the Port Authority of Greater Cincinnati Development Authority, Robert Fisher. Open it up, Vice President Dreehouse.
Just thanking Mr. Fisher for his willingness to continue to serve.
Awesome. Commissioner Dumas.
No comments.
Okay, make a motion to approve by leave 3.
Second.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, back to the calendar. Item number 8 and 9, Mr. Aludo.
Yes, Madam President, items 8 and 9, I believe Megan Guthrie is going to walk us through these related to some agreements with the Village of Amberley.
Yes, thank you so much. I'll be short and sweet as well. These are 2 resolutions for the county administrator to be able to enter into agreements. These are for heroin task force positions. The first for resolution number 8 is for our cold case investigator task force officer position. And then number 9 is for our commander of the heroin task force that also serves as a law enforcement director for the quick response team. And this is as Commander Fallon retires on December 31st. This is to allow both of these positions to be effective January 1. Any questions?
Awesome. Vice President Treehouse?
Yeah, thanks, Megan, for bringing these forward. I'm happy to support these. I did want to add something, though, a little off topic, but on topic.
Sure.
We had a recent Supreme Court decision here in Ohio related to the opioid settlements and the money that we're able to receive to remediate the addiction issues we have here in our community. We're tracking this. I don't know if you all, was it yesterday that came out?
It was yesterday, yeah.
Questions about this. It's concerning if it applies to the monies that we were anticipating through the foundation, which we all 3 sit on, and looking at that 18-year access to those funds. We're hoping that this doesn't impact that. It doesn't appear to, but we're going to keep an eye on it. So I just wanted to make sure that people were aware of that. And Megan, I know you're bird dogging it. I got something from Alicia, who is the director at the state level. She's also bird dogging it. So more to come on this, but I did want to make everybody aware of it. So thank you, and I'm happy to support these 2.
We'll be sure to keep everyone posted
thank you.
if anything develops. Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner Dumas.
Thank you. Megan, are these funds coming out of the One Ohio Foundation? Or?
Great question. So the funds specifically for the heroin task force commander position, those we've been able to secure state and federal grants. Tom Fallon has done a great job throughout his career securing funds for the heroin task force. So those positions are covered there. And then the cold case investigator position, that is a pilot program that we're launching this year, and we have that actually out of the heroin task force fund. We'll cover the first portion of that, and we're looking to secure grant funds for that as we secure data on that project.
Thank you.
Yes.
Awesome. I make a motion to, no, am I making a motion? Okay, yeah, make a motion to approve items 8 and 9.
Second.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Thank you. Now consent agenda, Mr. Little.
Thank you, Madam President. Walk through the consent agenda, a moderate pace for our translators. Item 10 is the administration's actions for September. Item 11 is a resolution designating financial assistance for shelters and victims of domestic violence. This is relating.
Excuse. Can we maybe step out or write it down? Thank you.
This relates to there is actually a fee on marriage licenses and divorce filings. The projected amount is $130,000. Item 12 is a budget adjustment to close various engineer capital projects at an amount of $2.8 million and return those residual balances to their respective funds. We have several ARPA stormwater grants. I'll just list the community and the amount. This is items 13 through 16. There's Coleraine Township, $219,819. There's Sycamore Township, $250,000. Columbia Township, $293,000. And Loveland, Ohio, $75,488. Item 17 is bid award and contracts signed by the purchasing department for the month of 2024 at $2.64 million. Item 18 is the purchase of a Dodge Durango for $43,295 in probation. Item 19 is the purchase of a Ford Escape in planning and development for $32,135. Item 20 is the award of an ITB to the Geiler Company for HVAC replacements at Paycor Stadium for $291,400. This is a 100% WBE project. Item 21 is a resolution accepting purchase orders in the Sheriff, Administration, Common Pleas, and Juvenile Court departments for $1.05 million. Item 22 is the award of ITB 050-24 to Browning Chapman. This is for Justice Center Skywalk exterior and roof repair for $927,714. There is 4.8% MBE participation and 4.3% WBE participation in that project. Item 23 is an agreement with Mission Critical Partners on behalf of the Court of Common Pleas for consulting services for $285,000. Item 24 is the purchase of a Dodge Durango in the Sheriff's Office for $40,670. Item 25 is the rejection of an invitation to bid for Alms and Depke for a furnishings project. Item 26 is a resolution authorizing an agreement with Business Information Systems for the Court of Common Pleas for audiovisual equipment and upgrades for $1.253 million. Item 27 is a grant of an easement related to a Duke project outside of the Ohio Means Job Center on Central Parkway. Item 28 is the grant of an easement related to the provision of electric service for the new 911 EMA Center in Springdale. Item 29 is a resolution reinstating and amending the Community Impact Grant with Lincoln Heights. This is a grant of $975,000, but all we're doing in this amendment is extending the time period to December 31st of 25. Item 30 is a resolution for the use of credit cards by EMA at $6,000. Item 31 is the use of credit cards by EMA for $90,000. Item 32 is a resolution approving and journalizing the collective bargaining agreement with the corrections officers for SERB case 2023 MED 111071. We have several job and family service items. Item 33 is the report of actions and contracts for $42,900 for the month of September. Item 34 is the awards and contracts of the department for October for $197,200. Item 35 is a renewal with Hearn House for independent living services, $700,000. Item 36 is a renewal with Changing the World for independent living services, $1.1 million. Item 37 is a renewal of an agreement with Changing Lives Youth Services for independent living services, $500,000. Item 38 is an amendment number 2 for Up Together for Emancipation Support Services at $3 million. Item 39 is a renewal of an MOU between JFS and the county for administration of the Inspire Youth Initiative program at $300,000. Item 40 is a renewal of an agreement with Gateway to Success for independent living services at $4 million. And then finally, Commissioners, item 41 is a resolution establishing compensation levels for the Veteran Services Commission. And this is under ORC 5901.04 at $7,050.39. That's your consent agenda. Commissioners, happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. I'll open it up, Vice President Driehaus.
Yeah, thank you. I just have a couple of things. On item 11, this is the resolution to designate financial assistance to shelters for victims of domestic abuse. Do you know what shelters this is going to?
I believe it's going to the YWCA, Commissioner. I believe that the entirety of that is going to the YWCA. You can follow up, though.
Yeah, no, thank you. I was just curious. I also wanted to highlight the stormwater for Coleraine, Sycamore, Columbia, and Loveland. Very excited about these grants going out from the commission. These are going to be extremely helpful in those communities. Also, in item 21, Jeff, and I don't need to be overly particular, but the amount that you quoted for this one is not the amount that's on the agenda. And so I just wanted to make sure we had the right.
There was some changes on this one. I will ask.
Do I have a different? It's on the revised?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so that's, of course, my bad. All right, very good. And I think that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Dumas?
Just a couple things. Jeff, on item 11, you said something about marriage licenses. And if you could clarify that for me, this is financial assistance to shelters for victims of domestic violence. How does that?
Yes, Commissioner. So there is actually a fee that is applied to every marriage license, and on every application for divorce filings as well. That goes under the Ohio Revised Code. There's a discretion of the, I believe, probate court and the clerk of courts to establish a fund for provision to victims and shelters for domestic violence.
Okay, you didn't mention divorce, and I think that's part of it. Okay, that's the main part of it probably. Item 27, just inquisitive about the dollar amount. Is that a processing fee for the easement?
Yes, Commissioner. I think it is just the grant of consideration for the access to that property, and there has to be a dollar amount associated with it.
Okay, very good. And I was just wondering if anyone was here from Lincoln Heights for item 29. No, nobody's here.
So. Okay.
Okay. I appreciate the administration is willing to extend that deadline so they could use that money effectively. I think that's all I had.
Thank you. I would like to make a motion to approve items 10 through 40.
Second?
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Driehaus?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
I think there's 41. It was through 41. I'm sorry.
All right. I'd like to amend my motion. Or I'd like to make a motion to approve item 41.
Second?
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Driehaus?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes. Make a motion to adjourn.
No.
Okay.
Now we're not quite done yet. I'll open it up for comments from the commissioners.
I'm going to be brief. I did want to thank Commissioner Reese for the holiday lunch today. It was delicious. Each year the president does lunch for the staff, so and welcome back, by the way. You came back with a bang, providing all of us lunch, so really grateful for that. Also, I went to the Xavier University groundbreaking. They're opening up a new medical school. Represented the commission at that event. It's pretty exciting. A lot of generous people in this community making that possible, so thanks to them. And I have this red heart on my lapel because I went to the Rotary Club Heart Restart celebration. The commissioners participated in this initiative in phase 1, where we are putting AEDs in the sheriff deputies' cards to make sure that they have those life-saving apparatuses as they move around and respond to emergencies. But phase 2 was to make sure that the AEDs are in all first responder cars, whether it is CPD or police department outside of the city of Cincinnati. And so now all emergency responders will have AEDs. I mean, it's really impressive. They raised a lot of money through the hospitals, through the sheriff's office, through private donations. Of course, the Rotary Club in Hamilton County was first in line when this came to our attention a few months ago. So I was happy to represent the commission and talk about the importance of the AED program. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you so much. Also want to welcome you back and thank you for the spread. Very nice. So I have a couple things. The building, the Hamilton County Board of Building Standards is at least going to have 4 openings for that commission. So if you're interested, get on the website and put in your application. We need you. I had a couple things. Of course, the White House briefing was short but sweet. Manny Lamero, Deputy Assistant Secretary for the Employment and Training Administration, talked about the National Apprenticeship Week. And Samir Hussein, the Senior Policy Advisor for the White House, Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships, discussed the administrative actions to counter help me. Nobody's going to help me, Bishop. Islamophobia. Is that correct? Seems like Islamophobia. Thank you. Okay, so you know what I mean, and it's very important that we counter it, any kind of actions against any other people. Okay, and then Caitlin Vitez, the Higher Education Liaison for the Office of Communications and Outreach at the U.S. Department of Education, talked about there was a fact sheet. President Biden announces over 1 million public service workers have received student debt cancellation, which is awesome. Okay, a couple other things. I attended a webinar for CCAO. They talked about grants and how to write grants and that they need more people to do it. And so the little authors came in this week for our Inspire initiative. It was just so inspiring for all of us. Over 100 young people have written their books. They're on Amazon. You can take a look and also look at her website. And then I had a webinar with Job and Family Services with Director Patton and John as it relates to JFS and their vision for 2025, what they're trying to do, what they want to continue doing. And also they're going to put, I believe it was $5 million into a program for prevention for our young people, because the numbers are going up as it relates to custodies. People being involved with JFS, our young people. So we definitely want that to go down. We want to continue to strengthen our families and have children, if they can, to stay in their homes. And I attended the Port Authority meeting also. So that is all that I have. Okay.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank Jackie Taggart Boyd and Spencer Boyd, who coordinated the holiday celebration, and so I appreciate both of you all talking about the food and the spread, but I have to give them their credit for keeping it going. And I want to thank Veda Stevens, and I want to thank Erica in my office to keep things moving and grooving. Really appreciate that. I want to wish everyone a wonderful holiday season, a safe season. And this is sometimes difficult season for some folks because people have moved on. So keep people in mind that maybe have lost loved ones during this season. So wanted to say that. Want to also invite people they can go down to the Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame. There's lights now, tree lights. It's really pretty, and from the pictures that people sent me. And you can go down there and have a light show, as well as take pictures and take your family down there. There's some Christmas songs that were recorded by some of the Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame folks. Charles Brown had one of the most famous songs and his song will be playing, I believe, down there, and so people can go down and enjoy as well. Open at 6 a.m. and close at 11 p.m. So I wanted to highlight that. I want to thank my colleagues. I want to say that we have had one incredible year and 2 years as I've served as the president. But I wanted to just to highlight some great things that this board, we've had a lot, but we have done some bold stuff. And I think it should definitely go notice of Hamilton County. I think we've got the #1 county in America on the things that we've been able to do. One is we were able to break ground on a new safety complex known for so many years as the gun range in Lincoln Heights. I know Commissioner Dumas is gonna cringe when I say that, but we got to formerly known, we got to do like Prince, formerly known as the gun range of Lincoln Heights. Something that couldn't be done, we were told, and it's been 70 years, and each member of this board, along with partnerships, we made it happen. We went from talk to reality and put a major investment to get it over the hump. And I want to thank the administration, of course, all the partners we want to thank, but it was the leadership coming from Hamilton County. And I just think it's just a major historical thing to remember this year. We were also, like I talked about before, small business. We have an Office of Small Business and our partnership with Alloy, Small Business Day, top notch, 2 years. No one's had anything like ours. A lot of people have leaflet fairs. I mean, we had the deal room. We were connecting people to contracts. They were really getting help, getting opportunities to get grants. Our pitch night was incredible. It wasn't, fluff. It was real deal, well put together. I'm thankful for the state of the counties. We had record attendance. We had people who had to be in overflow because they wanted to hear what we had to say in Hamilton County. And pushing the theme of one Hamilton County, the 513 relief bus, we went from a body double to a state-of-the-art bus, and then to major days this year. We had a senior citizen day just for seniors to help them out. We had developmental disabilities day. We had the cancer caucus and people getting cancer treatment and prevention, and we had a workshop. Very excited about that. We had the Girls Empowerment Day, and we had everything Hamilton County was the kickoff. And people said, man, I didn't know Hamilton County had all this to offer. It was just incredible. And we celebrated over our 100th stop. Youth. I want to thank the Inspire program, the Women and Girls Commission. No one has what we have. And last year we helped over 27,000 youth, and we want to help more. It's incredible. Hamilton County, we support our youth. We're putting money in to help them, and we know there continues to be work to be done, but we're doing a lot of work. We had our kickoff to our employment day when people said youth do not want to work. We said, yes, we're going to have it. We had the 513 relief bus. We took it to Evanston, and 1,000 youth showed up with resumes. They beat us to the place. No fights, no cussing, nothing negative, just to get jobs. And we were able to also give free work permits for you to be able to get your get your physicals at no cost. Our 513 relief bus has provided medical, no copay, and we've saved lives. People who had high blood pressure that didn't know and had to be rushed to the hospital. We've been able to do that. We did youth physical for sports so that it doesn't matter your income. We can get you a physical and you can be in a organized sporting event. We have honored, and we've got more to honor because we got so many that have won state championships. We've got the best amateur sports people in the nation. We're winning state championships. And we want more of them going to college, not just in athletics, but every young person. I want them to have a chance to get post-education, certification, and that's what we do with our Office of Youth. We have an Office of Youth now, and we do free certifications. So now they have a skill set that they can make money. We have a paid workers program for our youth. We talked about veterans. We changed this whole game of veterans around. Now we're hopefully on the right path. We had a Veterans Appreciation Day at Great American Ballpark. I don't know any other county that's done that. Free, 3,000 veterans being helped, and even having Veterans Court under Judge Nestor, bringing the court to the Great American Ballpark. Can you believe that? And expunging a record of a veteran on the spot. We also have invested in affordable housing. It was mentioned earlier now, we're looking at the tiny houses we're going to be looking at. But we also looked at affordable housing that needed to get out the pipeline. We had a lot of ribbon cuttings. If we didn't put this $40 million investment, these houses couldn't have got up and going. But we also said we want to have housing. We did a smart housing for people with disabilities that's innovative in the nation for people with disabilities. In addition, we have also won national and international awards for our initiatives, including the Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame, the only interactive outdoor Black music monument in the nation. And now we're one of the top Black music monuments in the country, including Paisley Park with Prince, Motown, and the list goes on. And we have won national and international awards. We've gotten publicity in national and international magazines that has gotten Hamilton County over $1 million+ worth of advertising and marketing at no cost. We put AEDs, that was mentioned earlier, working with our Sheriff's Department and the Rotary Club, but we also have it on the 513 Relief Bus. We have been on the cutting edge, and I'm also proud that we had 30% that was passed on the property tax rollback. In addition, we put $6 million in ARPA money to help people pay their taxes, pay their mortgage, and kind of hopefully stabilize them through these tough times. We did $100 million+ for rental assistance for people who had nowhere else to turn and go. We didn't just put the money there, we actually took the bus out to the people, helping them fill out the paperwork properly through our partnerships with the 513 Relief Team and JFS. I just could go on and on, but I have not seen, I've been in elected office a long time, I've not seen an entity or a body be able to move this quickly with this type of innovation, this type of initiatives that we've been able to put forward. We haven't just talked about it, we have been getting things done. And so I just want to, these are just some of the highlights. I'm sure I've missed lots of them, but I want to thank my colleagues. It's only 3 of us, but we've been able to put some things in place, and we've been able to do it in a way that's been responsive to the needs of the taxpayers of Hamilton County. So wanted to highlight that as we go into the next, this year is winding down, and we'll be going into a new year, but I wanted not to let this go without us seeing a look back on a lot of the things that we've been able to accomplish in conjunction with our administration and those who have to implement the ideas that we have, that we've been able to do first class. So we've been one Hamilton County. I'm extremely proud, and we've done a lot of historic things, and a lot of times we do a historic, we like, move to the next one, move to the next one, move to the next one. But I wanted us to take a moment to really take in what really we've been able to accomplish, and I'm very proud of it. So I wanted to just say that and thank both of you, and to everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. Vice President Treehouse.
Yes, can I add one thing? Thank you for your comments. We are running a Kindness for Kids program here at the county, and I meant to mention it earlier. I don't know what the deadline is. I know it's coming up soon, but these are gifts for kids that are in foster care to make sure that they have gifts for Christmas. And so I would encourage anybody that's listening to get on the website, click on the QR code, and donate something for the foster kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Dukes?
I was saying John is back there. He may know the deadline.
What's the deadline? Can you give you want to come up, tell them the deadline and where they can, oh, you on the computer looking too. That's why I need to go to 513relief.com. I forgot to say that. That's a good portal too.
And thank you for your comments. Yeah. This is not our last meeting, though. We have one meeting on the 17th.
This is my last meeting.
Oh, is it?
For the year, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I had to get
No
that
wonder I was saying adjourn after we finished our agenda. You said no, so we would not have been able to hear all that great stuff about what we've done. And I'm also very proud of being a part of this unit, and we've done some great things. But that's all I had. Okay.
All righty. Well, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse? Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.